Now, your WZDX Pinpoint Weather with Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman.
Clear skies this afternoon, plenty of sunshine, but temperatures really failed to warm up. As we head into mid-April, we should be in the lower 70s. Instead, look at the graphic. Many of us only made it into the upper 50s. Most didn't even see 60 degrees this afternoon. Saw 59 at Huntsville International, 59 Athens and Decatur. Florence did manage to creep into the lower 60s. They saw 61. Scottsboro, good evening. Also saw a high this afternoon of 61 degrees. We're going to kind of switch gears now as we head into the overnight. We're talking about the cold. Frost advisory is set to go in effect. It goes into effect from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. I'll show you those lows across all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Everybody dipping down into the mid and upper 30s, and you notice a couple of extra cool spots. Fort Payne forecast to get down to 32 degrees. Fayetteville forecast to get down to 34. Pulaski forecast to see a low of 35 degrees. Just remember, before you head to bed tonight, maybe bring in some of those plants if they're in pots, or at least cover them in some way so that you can protect them through this mid-April chill. Here's the weekend as a whole. 68 on Saturday afternoon, plenty of sunshine. Now look at Easter Sunday. 52 on Sunday morning, 71 on Sunday afternoon. There is a 100% chance of rain, and we're also talking about the opportunity for strong or very severe thunderstorms. I kind of want to go ahead and just give you the bottom line. We're talking about the potential for multiple long track tornadoes. Those are tornadoes that stay on the ground for an extended period of time. Timing here, this would be an afternoon evening event, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. It looks like all of this is going to come in multiple waves, and there's not going to be just one distinct line. And then we're also talking about that opportunity for some very heavy rain that could lead to flash flooding. So locally across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, you see that moderate risk for portions of Colbert, Franklin, Lawrence, Morgan, and Coleman counties. Everybody else across North Alabama and then up into southern Middle Tennessee, they are sitting under that enhanced risk. I don't want you to put too much stock in this. Just understand that everybody is under a very serious risk for severe weather. And this encompasses a lot of Mississippi, Arkansas, down into Louisiana, where we're talking about the potential for some very dangerous tornadoes. So here's our main threats kind of laid out for you. Notice our biggest concern by far going to be the damaging winds, and then the threat for some very large, dangerous, long track tornadoes. Large hail is kind of our secondary threat this time around. And then flooding, like I mentioned earlier, is also one of our bigger threats. This is just rainfall through Monday afternoon. So rain that we would get on Sunday, 3.5, 4 locally. We could be talking about 5 inches of rain. So here's Futurecast, 10 o'clock on Saturday evening. We are dry across all of the Tennessee Valley. We move forward early into Sunday morning. Rain begins to move in, and it looks like the rain is going to stick with us through Sunday morning. None of this activity to this point is going to be severe. We get a little bit of a break through the later part of the morning. Now here we are, lunch hour. Some more heavy rain, some thunderstorms begin to move into the Tennessee Valley. It's now that we're talking about that opportunity for some severe weather. Here we are, 1:30 in the afternoon. Some of those strongest severe thunderstorms beginning to move through by 3 o'clock across the I-65 corridor. More thunderstorms move in as we head into Sunday evening, and then it looks like we'll finally begin to quiet things down through the later part of the evening and then early into the overnight. You can see that one additional line kind of try and move through. I think that's actually going to be somewhat weaker. Now, if you have any questions in regards to the severe weather event that is forecast on Easter Sunday, feel free to text us. That number is 256-382-2692. You can text me any of your questions, comments, or concerns, and myself or meteorologist Emily Owen will respond personally to your text message. Have a good look at the next 7 days. We can get past Sunday. Let's look past Sunday. We've already talked about that. I want to pay attention now to the fact that we are going to dry out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. Unfortunately, it does look like it's going to be rather chilly, Mike.
Chilly but sunny. And as for this weekend, Jordan, we can certainly hope for the best, but if need be, we should prepare for the worst. Thank you so much.